morning, everyone. This is Matt Reed with ITS Partners. I lead technical sales and information security at ITS Partners. Today, we're going to talk about getting the most out of Symantec Endpoint Protection. I have Dennis Larson, a senior consultant with ITS. He's based in Springfield, Oregon. We find that about half of the customers out there that own endpoint protection are not using the advanced features. And these features and this functionality is there for a really important reason. It's a couple versions that these features have been there, and they're really important for protecting endpoints and users from the advanced threats of today's landscape. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dennis Larson, and he's going to take us through the presentation.
And welcome everyone. So this morning we're going to talk about getting the most out of Symantec Endpoint Protection and some of its new features and how it can help in your layered security settings within your environment to help protect against the threat landscape of today's world. We're going to talk about the threat landscape and kind of how it's evolved to today's world. We'll talk about the advanced threat protection within SEP, talking about the new features. And then we'll kind of finish up with a little bit about ITS and what we can do to help you out. So here's just kind of a quick overview, some numbers from the Symantec's threat report regarding incidences among kind of the rogue cloud deployments that they've been seeing. The big key here is 6-time increase in mobile malware last year. That's huge. That's huge in an environment. It's huge as a security risk, and making sure that we have a layered security within environments to help protect us against today's threats. So this slide here kind of takes us through the different threats, the different possibilities, different ways threats can come on and how they've evolved. I mean, we start from like the mass mailing worm, which, 5-10 years ago was, that was the big one. Everyone clicked on a link in an email from a friend they knew or a friend they didn't know, and that was kind of how it started. From there, it's kind of expanded. Now we've got phishing, we've got the vulnerabilities that are exploited, spyware and spam. You got the bots, you've got drive-by downloads. So many different vectors that threats can come into your environment and onto your machines that we need to make sure that this layered security helps protect against. How an end user gets infected. There's several ways this can happen. Obvious way is clicking an email link, visiting a high risk site. We all know what those sites could be. We see those on a regular basis. Not obvious. Clicking a link on a trusted site. So a user goes to a trusted site that they're very familiar with, been there several times. All of a sudden, there's a new link there for an ad, or to take them to a different section of the site, and we get a drive-by download. Now we're infected and we're fighting that threat. The scary one is just visiting a trusted site. So many threats and so many vulnerabilities out there that trusted sites are getting infected with viruses, and those are spreading through drive-by downloads, through just visiting, through an exploit on the machines or through the browser. Lots of ways, and that's the scary part, because there's so many ways and so many good trusted ways that you can get infected today. So let's talk about kind of the layered model. This has been ongoing for some time. I mean, this goes back through obviously SEP 12, back through SEP 11, even into SEP 10, and some of the features and functionalities here of the layered traditional, what I call traditional layers. Your network threat protection, your proactive threat being your IPS, and then your AVAS, your antivirus and anti-spyware solution, and how it protects. And this kind of talks about what these layers do, what they protect against, and kind of how it helps you and your environment. So we see back to those numbers, the 66%, 77%. A lot of those customers are using AVAS. Using AVAS, you can see that there's a lot of threat vectors that are not touched with that functionality. So we need to make sure that we're adding these layers to really help protect not only the customers, the individual machines, but also the data. So much important data on machines or that users have access to that need to be protected on a daily basis. So let's talk about Symantec's response as we walk through kind of the layers in the threat landscape. What is Symantec's response, and how can they help? What have they added to those 3 layers that we just discussed to really help protect us going forward and to help protect against the new threat landscape? So what has Symantec done? Symantec has added some very important features. They've added Insight, they've added Sonar, Download Insight, Norton Safe Web, and then they've added some advanced security policies. These are great additions, and let's kind of talk about them and how they help you out today. So Symantec's Insight, the technology was integrated into SEP. SEP 12 allows the conviction, and it's all based on reputation. So what Symantec has done over time is they've collected a bunch of data on known good files, whether those are program files from known good vendors, whether those are operating system files, whether it be Windows or Mac, whatever that may be, to really create this pool of known good files and to create this reputation base to really help leverage the products here. So what is this leverage? Insight leverages Download Insight, Scan Less, Sonar, and then heuristics and collaboration during detection. So it is added into some of these features to really help increase protection, but also allow uptime and make sure that the user's experience on the client side is not affected on a day-to-day basis. So behavior analysis and system heuristics. So we're talking about Sonar here. What is Sonar? Sonar is real-time protection. It is obviously, it's based on behavior, and this is put together based on behavior of threats. Symantec sees hundreds of thousands of threats in a month, millions of threats in a year. So putting this behavior detection there for risks that act the same, have the same heuristics that have been changed or modified, sometimes repackaged and sent out as something different. So this helps with that from a real-time standpoint. So no scanning required. It's there. It's running. It's that added feature that's been needed. It does system change detections. Host files, DNS change detections, as well as being a part of what SEP 11 had was the tamper protection, which is still there. It's able to convict on process launch. So anytime something kicks off, it's there. It's improved with the new support for file and registry protection, and this behavior is updated through live update. Sonar heuristics. So Sonar, it talks about here, inspects many aspects of the applications, detections. It's all based on behavior, and I want to make sure that everyone understands that when it talks about behavior, it's talking about what the threats do, what Symantec sees on the back end when they analyze a threat, whether that's in the security response labs, whether that's what they're seeing from activity in their honey buckets or anything else that they have out there to detect and find threats. So this behavior is being put in place based on that information. Convictions categorized into 2 buckets. So you have the high confidence and you have low confidence. As you can see here, low confidence, aggressive mode allows for more low confidence detections, but you get a higher false positive rate. So making changes to that can cause issues within your environment. So what happens if an application is convicted? Because we all want to know that, right? SEP takes one of 3 actions: quarantine, remove, and log. Pretty similar to what AutoProtect has been doing and what scans have been doing for long periods of time. Being able to quarantine, delete, clean, and then log, of course. Safe Web Lite. It's an optional install. Not a lot of people are familiar with it. It is on the CD, so um, something to look at, and take some troubleshooting, and really look at will this work for my environment, and how it will affect my end users. But it provides a safer search experience. It warns you of dangerous websites, and as you can see in the screenshot there, it shows you the Norton Secure. It gives you the green button of OK. You can also see there where it shows the red X on the free DVD video players. So just it's an added bonus. Helps your end users. But again, we've got to be conscious as users, and as IT administrators. We've got to make sure that we are educating our users to really look for that if this is a functionality that we use. But it is a great added feature that can be incorporated into your environment there. So now let's talk about firewall and intrusion prevention here. So we've got the firewall IDS. This has been in play for some time. What are some of the updates, and what are some of the things that Symantec has added to increase the security and increase the traditional 3 layers, right? So we've got NDIS 5 and NDIS 6 support. Firewall rules can be applied to IPv6 traffic now, which is great as more and more people are moving to IPv6 over IPv4. Decoupled firewall dependencies with AV. So what does this mean? So this means that in previous builds of SEP, mainly with SEP 11 and some of the early builds of SEP 12, the firewall was dependent. Some of its components were dependent on the antivirus portion, and some were dependent on the IPS, the proactive threat protection portion of it as well. And that's no longer. It's its own separate entity now, its own feature set. Improved Windows firewall integration. The last thing you want is Windows firewall running at the same time that this firewall is running, and run into some conflicts, and take that risk of having a vulnerability or a hole within your environment that the firewall should be protecting, but because they're battling over the same area, we run into that issue there. And improved IDS reporting and error handling. And this is key because everyone wants to know what it's doing. What is it doing? What is it monitoring? If there's errors, how does it handle that? Being able to see that, it's very detailed now, and very easy to read. Advanced security policy. So as you can see here on this slide, we're talking about application control. This being application and device control, and its functionality of how it can help assist with threats in today's environment. Upgraded default policies. The original list of default policies that Symantec had in play was about 7 to 10, and now they're up to like 15 to 20 defaults within the application control. And a lot of these are based on threats, threat activity, and how threats come in. Symantec is also the security response portion of Symantec has taken it upon themselves to write policies for application and device control to help with threat outbreaks. So they have some of those available to download as well on the Symantec Security Response website. Here you can see new ICMP trigger for location awareness, and improved tamper protection, all within application and device control. Within here, you've got block programs from running from the drives, which is definitely a way for threats to be transported from a home environment into an office environment, as well as you've got block access to auto runs. Ways threats can continue to run and gain access from machine to machine. So as we talk about the new features and the new functionalities, you also have download protection that helps with the drive-by downloads and really layering that security. So with this layered security and with these new features and functionalities within SEP, how can ITS help you? How can we get to the point of really helping layer your security and making sure that you're protected to the utmost within your environment on a day-to-day basis. So ITS, we offer different delivery services. Where that's implementation. That's from zero protection to install, whether it's an upgrade from a previous build to a new, or if that's from a competitor's product to a Symantec product, as well as assessments. Coming in and doing some health checks, doing some scorecard assessments as well that we'll get into here. Assessment-led selling, DLP risk assessment, bullshit activity assessment. You can see here. We also offer training. Our authorized Symantec training partner, as well as we have managed services as well to assist customers. So the Symantec-centric assessment, the big one here being the security scorecard. Security scorecard for SEP. It's free. It can be remote or on site. And what we do is come in and take a look at the SEP environment, assess it, kind of create a score for you based on our documentation that has been put together by our Symantec experts, to really create and show you how your environment is currently set up, and really explain to you the layers and how the layers are there and how it's affected on a day-to-day basis, and kind of what gives you kind of a guideline of how you need to move forward with really increasing your security within there. So this is a great thing, and again, it is free. It can be done remotely or on site. So I just want to thank everyone. Hopefully this was very informative for you, and please reach out to us if you have any questions or concerns. And I will turn it over to Matt Reed.
Take care, everyone. Protect your information, protect your infrastructure, and have a good day.